Hi, it's Greg from Grommet, and today we have a very special interview for you with Daria Walsh, the founder and creator of Infinity Clips, one of the top-rated products on the Grommet so far. And in this interview, you're going to learn all about why Daria created Infinity Clips, how she went through the process of getting this from idea and into the marketplace, and how launching on Grommet led to the biggest day of sales on a single platform in her business existence. It is a super cool interview, one that you are absolutely going to love. Let's go and check out this interview with Daria Walsh. Tell me a little bit about how you started Infinity Clips. Where did the idea come from, and what made you go from an idea to actually starting a company?
Infinity Clips, it came about because I used to wear this long necklace and I wore it all the time, but I couldn't wear it with all my outfits, but I just loved this necklace. And I wanted a way to shorten it. And I was looking for something to shorten my long necklaces with, and there was nothing on the market. So I'm like, okay, I could come up with a solution that can fix this. Initially I tried like the homemade hacks and stuff, Scotch tape and things like that, and they just didn't look nice. And then there was like expensive options, like you had to get it shortened by a jeweler, and like you can't wear that, long or short. So I wanted something that was going to be flexible and also pretty. And so that's kind of where the idea started. And then it just grew from there and became a business.
I love that. And you made it sound really easy, but I'm sure like figuring out how do I make it? What materials, where do I get this made from? Like, am I making this in my garage, like in my spare time that I don't have? So what were some of those early days like in going from idea to actually like having something that's like, I built this is mine, and now I want to go sell it to the world?
I tinkered with it for about a year, and then I started to get serious, and there was like 100 prototypes. I was going through craft stores and hardware stores trying to find little pieces that I could fit together to kind of make the prototype work. And it looks like a simple invention, but it was actually really complicated because I wanted it to fit, certain thicknesses of the chains and different styles of chains and everything else. So there was a ton of trial and error. And in the beginning, before I started manufacturing, I was hand making them. So I actually launched on Etsy, and I was hand making these. And I, was able to perfect it during that time before, I kind of went full scale with the whole production.
What were some of the early challenges or roadblocks that you faced in kind of those early days? Was it in the manufacturing process? Was it in the getting the site up and running? Like what were some of the early challenges that kept you up at night and kind of drove you crazy, but that you're really happy that you went through and overcame?
I didn't have a lot of money to start. So one of the challenges was really that I launched my company with $500 to my name, and I got a patent, and I was able to manufacture and grow it from there. But initially it was a lot of research. It was a lot of figuring out, okay, which way do I go? How do I do this cost effectively and not go down the path of spending money that I don't need to spend? And, just trying to be very effective and efficient with the money that I had to work with. And I grew it little by little by just, rolling profits into, a patent. And then, from there, more inventory, and then the second issue I had was I kept selling out. I was selling out my manufacturer. When I did scale to start using a manufacturer, they couldn't keep it up with production. So I probably sold out 3 or 4 times every year until now, I'm set and I have consistent manufacturing coming in, and I'm like ready now to say, hey world, here I am. I have product to sell this time, and here we go.
Talk to me a little bit about the patent process. Would you do it again? And do you have any advice for people who are going through that process?
The patent process, I think a lot of people come up against it and they're like, well, where do I start? The legal fees are so high and everything else. And one of the best ways to go about getting a patent, I have a utility patent on my Infinity Clips. You get a provisional patent, and I wrote that myself. And it was a great exercise because I was able to really hone in on the idea and, get all the details of it and my market and all this in place. And then I submitted that, and that only cost like $75 as a micro entity. And that gives you a year to test market the product before it goes out, before you actually have to invest money in the non-provisional patent, which is the expensive part. And that's when I was able to hire a lawyer and get that part done. But you could start off very inexpensively. And I do, talk to new inventors a lot about that process and how it doesn't have to cost a fortune. And it's very possible to do it, and take it as far as you can on your own and start with very little and get a patent. I would absolutely do it again. It's protected me a lot in the marketplace so far. And it's exciting to have a patent on something to say, hey, I have an idea that no one else has had before. It's really unique, and here's why.
Tell me about your first sale, right? Like for most people, that's one of the most memorable moments or days. And some people don't remember it at all because it's just a blur. But what was your first sale like? Do you remember where it came from? Was it your mom? Was it, a best friend or a stranger? Like what do you remember about your first sale?
I launched my business. I didn't even tell anyone I was doing it. And I launched on Etsy. And my first sale, I think I remember like the first couple of sales, not exactly the first one, because I think they started coming in, I think it was like a couple of days before I got my first one. I was like, someone wants my product. Someone likes this. Someone needs it. But I was actually also filled with panic because I was like, okay, what if I don't ship it out right? It was just a lot of mixed emotions. I was so excited, but I wanted to get it perfect. I wanted to do everything right. And so, yeah, it was exciting, but nerve-wracking.
I love that. And it's always like, what comes next, right? You're right. Like I got the sale. Now I got to ship it. Do I know how to print the labels out? Do I know like all the other things?
Exactly. I think a lot of people can relate to that because, you would think it'd be like dancing around, but it was more like, okay, now what do I do? It started.
Are there any really cool stories that, just make you think like, it's worth it. Like all the hard work, all the tough times, that it's worth it, that my product is actually making a difference out there for people?
One stands out when you're talking about it. A lot of brides and bridal parties use my product. And there was this one time the groom called me and he's just like, we have this shipment coming in and it's delayed and I don't know if it's lost. And we really need these necklace shorteners for all our bridesmaids because, the necklaces aren't going to work right. And we bought all these necklaces for them and they're not going to work with the dresses. And so he drove an hour to me to get all the necklace shorteners just to make sure. Luckily, he was only an hour away, but and so thankful. And, it was just such a nice thing to see that, this little thing was important to them. And I was able to, we were able to come up with a solution so that their day went smoothly and that she was so happy, and it's just like a little thing like the necklace shortener, but all those little kinks that you could throw into something that you planned so perfectly, just
Now, one thing I noticed that you've done in your business is you're very front and center in your business, meaning like if I go to your Instagram page, you're in a lot of the videos, you're in a lot of the product shots. And I think that's really cool, especially as, I know a lot of times, like I'm a big believer that people buy from people, right? So I'm the inventor, I'm the maker, I'm out there telling people about my product. And I'd love to hear about why you made some of those decisions to be front and center in the business and either how you think that that's helped your business or maybe it's held you back because you want more models and different people helping out the business. But I love it personally because you're taking ownership of the brand and you're going out there. But I'd love to hear your perspective on kind of being obviously the business owner, but also kind of the face of the business as well.
So it happened by default. It was because I was the only model I had next to me to be able to do things. So I didn't really want to be the face of my brand. It wasn't something I set out to do. And I was just like, I don't want to do another video. And, I haven't done much social media because of it, because I don't know. I think a lot of people relate to the fact that, it's kind of nerve-wracking to be doing these social media posts and everything else. And I would have loved to expand to, other people showing the product and things like that. And I have gotten my daughter to do some photo shoots for me, and my girlfriend just did some for me. So I am going to be starting to use other models to showcase the product, like real people models, not models. But I realized though during the process, people really like to know your story. They like to see who they're buying from. They want to see authenticity. And so I've been trying to do more things like this, and just talk to people and say, hey, this is, why I developed it. And, just to kind of, I have to do it because I think it's important that people know who they're buying from and how important it is to me to be starting a business like this. It's exciting.
Well, I think it's really cool. And I know there's constraints. I know there's awkwardness to doing selfies and like all of that, but I think it's really cool that you're out there front and center. And, ultimately at the end of the day, no one's going to work harder for your business than you will. So I think it's a very strong testament to what you're doing. What's kind of your big vision for Infinity Clips? Like, do you see this, being a huge conglomerate? Is it just kind of a lifestyle business? Like what do you want this business to ultimately become?
I want to grow it and I want to be able to reach more people worldwide. I have a lot of customers in like the UK and Canada, and they're paying really high prices for shipping right now. So my first goal is to expand worldwide and make it more accessible. So I have warehouses over there and I could get it out to my customers over there who have been wonderful paying these high shipping, but I don't want to do that to them. I really want to get the product to them. So that's step one. I'm also expanding the catalog, the styles. I have some plain styles coming out soon, and I'm considering a larger style, a men's line. I'm thinking about. So I have a lot of exciting things planned. I don't know how big it's going to grow. I don't know. I'm just kind of going with it and inviting any opportunity I can to see, how far I could take it.
I love that you're kind of taking it day by day. Like there's big visions and stuff probably in your head, but you're focused on like what's ahead of you. And I think that's really cool and unique in your business. I'd love to know a little bit about how you first discovered the Grommet, right? I know this is a new sales channel for you. You launched on the new platform, but how did Grommet first come into your world?
So I am a member of a women's inventors group that we, focus on products, bringing products to market. And Leanna, who's from Tooth Take, she was also on the first week launch. She said, hey, this is, such a great opportunity. They just relaunching. Why don't you look into it? And I'm like, I'm there. I'm 100% there. So I signed up right away. And so I was launched on, I guess, week 2 or the second launch. And yeah, it's just, I'm so glad that she invited me to do that. And I know there's a lot of other women inventors from my group going to be on soon. So
we love that. And yeah, we love Leanna. She's amazing. I know she was part of Legacy Grommet and now in the new Grommet. And we love that this family is just growing organically. And I'd love to know a little bit about, like, again, I think Grommet was new to you. You weren't part of the Grommet that's been around for the last 15 years, just coming into this. What was the experience like? Maybe first impressions when you first saw your product page on Grommet. Like, just would love to hear a little bit about some of those first impressions of being on Grommet.
I didn't really know what to expect when I, got on. It was kind of just, okay, this will be fun. Let's try this out. And then, as we're going through the process and talking to you guys, everybody was so nice and helpful. And it really made me feel like they want you to succeed on the platform. I know, as I was putting up my page, I guess someone on the back end was making like little tweaks and I'm like, oh, that's good. Oh, I like that. I might use that, to just make sure that my product is in the spotlight and it looks good when it's brought out to the community. And I really appreciated that. So it was very seamless starting up. And then when I saw it launch, I was like, oh, wow, here I am. Oh, I already got likes. Oh, look, it's upvoting. And then I was like, I'm telling everybody. So of course, my whole family voted and everybody was so excited. And it was just such a fun process. And I love that, everybody could upvote because it just makes it exciting and more engaged.
I know at one point during launch week, you filmed like a video that you put out on Instagram. Like, hey, we just launched on Grommet. This is like...
Oh, did you see that? I didn't know you saw that.
Oh, we see everything. We pay attention. But we love that stuff because that means you care and that you want to be a part of it as opposed to, oh, it's just another sales channel. And I think you benefited very, at least from our eyes, greatly from it. I think you ended up as like the second product, like the number 2 product of the week, which is amazing, couple hundred votes. Why did you feel inclined to even do stuff like that? Like, I think that's important to help other brands understand, like, why did you take 30 seconds out of your day to film that video and post it and tell people to share the product?
I really want to be product of the week. I'm so bummed I came in second, but when I think about the other product, like they've been so successful, for years and they have a huge following already. And I'm like, oh, wow, of course, they're amazing. They've done so much. And here I am. I don't really have that much of a social media following yet. I don't really have anybody. And I'm like, okay, I really need to take advantage of this opportunity and let everybody know, like, first of all, hey, Grommet is amazing. Go check that out because, if you like innovation and you like unique products that, could usually get lost in the sea of products, amazing place. And you get discounts and everything, and then I wanted votes. So that's why I did the video. But I just wanted to give it my best effort, to kind of take advantage of the opportunity while I was, in launch week.
And then you emailed me, I think on a Monday, and we had actually featured you in our Sunday newsletter, which we put like some of the top products from the past week on. And you're like, hey, what the heck happened? I just had a ton of sales. And so one is your effort didn't go on deaf ears, because we want to reward, brands that go above and beyond. And then two, that was probably a pretty good Sunday sales day that you didn't expect.
That was my highest day of sales ever on a single platform.
Wow.
My phone was blowing up every minute. And I was sitting there with my boyfriend and I'm just like, oh my gosh, another one. And that was probably my most exciting day, to be honest. In all these years, my most exciting day of sales was Sunday. And because it was just, they just kept coming in. And I started dancing around when, I got a number and I'm like, yay! No, that was amazing. But I had no idea where they were coming from until I talked to you the next day and be like, what happened? This is not even launch day. I don't know what's going on. Why are all these sales coming in? So that was so exciting. I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah, we love that. And again, we want to reward cool brands that, you took time out of your life, your business to talk about Grommet. You got up to the top of the charts. And so we want to find more ways to continue to reward you. And I think that was a really cool side effect. And also goes to show the Grommet community loves buying stuff, right? We just got to put it in front of them and find cool products. Something we were talking about right before we went live is that a lot of your sales kind of happen on platforms, right? Platforms like Etsy, platforms like Amazon, which is awesome, right? Those are great communities. But you also said you wanted to start shifting a little bit of focus to, your own platform, selling on the Shopify store. Why is that something that's important to you as a business owner, in as part of your sales process?
There's a few reasons because, when you're on the marketplaces, you're paying commissions to them, but you don't own your customers. So I can't keep up and let my customers know, hey, there's a new sale or I have a new product coming out and things like that. So, it allows me to create a more intimate relationship and more connected. I connect with my customers better on my website, because it's easier to talk to. On a place like Amazon, I don't think people really know it. I know people are aware, but there's a lot of small businesses on there, but we're not able to really connect with our customers. It's kind of just you sell it, you're done. They can't really reach out. They can reach out, but not a lot of people know they could reach out and talk to me and say, hey, how do I do this? Do you have it in this color? Can I get it? So it just allows me to communicate better with my customers by, staying on my own website.
Yeah. And I think at least from our eyes at Grommet, we love empowering you as the small business owner. So we send all the traffic to your site. You get all the customer information. But if you're doing things you can retarget these customers, you can, as you mentioned, you have new lines coming out, like a men's line. But if you have all these customers, you can just send them an email and say, hey, I got a new product coming out. And I think it empowers you to grow your business when you own a lot of that data versus Amazon having that data. Now, again, there's obviously benefits to being on Amazon too, but I think owning that customer, at least in our eyes, is something that we value as super important. And I think that's going to help you to grow your business at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, Amazon's great. I love Amazon. I'll always be on Amazon. I love Etsy. I started on Etsy. I'll always be on Etsy, but it's really nice to have my own website also where I could, be a little more creative with different things.
If you were talking to a brand, maybe in that women's network, or a brand, you were talking to, and they were thinking about launching on Grommet, what would you tell them? What advice would you have to get them to have a successful launch on Grommet?
I do say, get on Grommet, everyone get on Grommet. I've been emailing my friends. This is amazing. But I think that you really just need to spread the word from, on your social media and let people know you're on Grommet. So I think Grommet has a great community already. It's very strong. But bringing other people into the community is important, and getting the word out and, posting on social media every day, at least, probably 3 times a day. You should. Making a little video, I think, really helps reach more people quicker than just a picture or a post. I think that was effective. Yeah, just put the effort behind it, instead of just saying, oh, there it goes. Take advantage of the opportunity, really take advantage of it, because for me, it's been great. I'm excited. I wish I could do it again because I would do so much more, but I had no idea what to expect. So now I'll be telling everyone, okay, this is what you need to do.
Well, I can't wait to launch another product from your line, whether it's the men's line or a new color or a new style, because again, you'll take all that expertise and bring it back in. And I think you're absolutely right that the brands who get the most from Grommet put in, it's not even a ton of effort, putting in a little bit of effort to, I like to say, kickstart the launch, right? So if you can, right when launch happens, send a little bit of traffic, get a couple upvotes. Then when we send our email to, millions of shoppers, you're not number 23 on the list, right? You've bumped yourself up to 3, 4 on the list, and it's going to get, once you're already at the top, it pushes you further to the top. And I think that's a big way to win the day. For folks that want to connect, maybe they want to learn more about Infinity Clips, they want to follow along on your journey, what's the best place to send them to go learn more about what you're up to?
infinityclips.com. And all my social media is linked to that too. And you could email me from there, or daria@infinityclips.com.
Of course, you can also go to the Grommet and search for Infinity Clips as well, and that will direct you to her site, get you some Infinity Clips. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. This has been super fun, and I can't wait to launch that next product on Grommet.
Thank you so much. It's been so wonderful.
Well, if you liked this interview, and more importantly, you maybe want to be our next featured case study who launched their product on Grommet, I've got some great news for you, because right now you can sign up to launch your product on Grommet absolutely free. That's right. There are 0 sign-up fees, and right now we're charging 0% commissions for all brands that launch their product on Grommet. To get started, just head on over to thegrommet.com and click on that button that says Submit Your Product. Go through the application process, and we can't wait to launch your product on Grommet real soon.